Hey, what's up everybody? It's Martin here. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're staying healthy, and I hope the quarantine hasn't gotten to your head yet. First of all, I gotta say thank you for the tremendous support you guys have given us on my last lesson on the Still Got the Blues solo. It really inspired me to do another one of those for you, this time on the much requested Little Wing solo. So here's 5 killer licks on Little Wing. I'm really interested to know what other solos you want to see me talk about, so leave something in the comments about that. Also, I'm trying to find a really good ratio as to how often to do this kind of thing. So right now, I'm uploading one Martin Miller session band video per month, and I'm thinking of doing one lesson video per month. So kind of like a 2-weekly thing. But also I want to know from you guys, do you want more of this, less of this? Please let me know, and also let me know how to improve this format, all right? The tablature is of course completely free and no strings attached. However, there is a pay what you want system built in. So if you feel like you want to express your support towards us in helping us grow the channel and covering our really high expenses for making these videos, you can do so by donating a little bit of money. However, I completely understand if that is not an option right now, and if you just want to keep watching the videos and get the free tab, that is totally cool. You can show your support by just keep watching our videos, commenting, subscribing, sharing it with your friends, and all that good stuff. The whole solo is exclusively available at my Patreon page for all the Silver Plus supporters. Before we get to the notes of lick 1, it is really fundamental to understand how Little Wing kind of works. It is in many ways much like a jazz standard in that there is a repeating form that is going on, a harmonic structure, if you will, that keeps repeating over and over, has X amounts of bars. I don't know the exact number, I just feel it because I've played the tune so often. And then there are chords and harmonies assigned to each one of those bars. And the reason I'm telling you this is because one lick I'm showing you here might work really, really well over an A minor 7 chord, but it might not work so well over the C major and D major progression, right? So it's really crucial that you understand where exactly within the form of the song these licks can be applied. Now that we got that out of the way, let's look at the actual notes of lick 1. Lick 1 is played over the last chord of Little Wing, and the chords that preface it are G major, F major, C major, and there's that D major that the lick is played over. Now this chord lasts for 4 bars, and at a tempo like Little Wing, that's a really long time. So what we do with the band, we play 2 bars of a suspended chord, right? This is a D sus4 chord. It's like a D major chord, but with a 4th instead of a 3rd, so the notes are these. That lasts for 2 bars, and then goes to a regular D major chord. The reason we do this is we want to build some tension and anticipation. That's what the suspended chord is really good at. And in order to emphasize that tension, I also emphasize that suspended note, that 4th, in my solo. So I play this repeating lick that has the 4th on the downbeat, right? To really accent that. It goes something like this at a medium pace. And just as the chord changes from D sus4 to D major, which has the F sharp in it, I bend up from E to F sharp to really give it that sense of resolution and kind of a very satisfactory feeling. Then I play a little pentatonic line and resolve it to E minor. And that's as far as the notes go. The other trick I employ here is that I sort of use a little polyrhythm. This lick is a repeating lick of 16th notes. And as you know, 16th notes divide a quarter note in 4 equal subdivisions, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But I play a group of 6 repeating notes. So that gives us this really cool accent shift that keeps on going. If I were to repeat those 6 notes over and over and over, listen to how the accent keeps shifting and try to keep track of beat 1. That's actually really hard if you're not used to it. So I'm going to count this one in so you can follow. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how every repetition, the emphasis is on a different note. It's a very cool effect. And once you can count it and once you can feel it, you can use it in your improvisations for great effect. right, lick number 2 is really easy to play. It's not hard at all, but it's an interesting melodic line. The chord progression underneath is A minor 7, going to E minor 7. And I start out the lick by bending from the minor third of A minor 7 on the 13th fret B string up to the 4th. And release that to the 3rd. Now this seems to be the common thread in this solo, that I target the 4th of a chord and then resolve it to the 3rd. It's the same thing here as in the first lick. Only here it resolves to a minor chord. And then I go from the minor third to the 5th. I have this little melodic line that I break up with a larger interval. Whenever there's too many narrow intervals, such as half steps and whole steps in a row, I like to employ a larger interval, such as a 6th and a 5th, to break that up, to make it not too predictable. And then I do the same thing on the lower string. This type of thing. Another trick that I want to show you is I use this open string here. I like to use open strings as kind of a ghost note. It happens to be a diatonic note here, but even if it weren't diatonic, it wouldn't bother me much. It's not so much an intervallic jump as it is just a rhythmic sound that kind of keeps the swing cooking. And also, I love how this lick kind of resolves into the E minor by sliding from the flat 9 into the 9. It's so incredibly jazzy. I stole that from a lot of great jazz artists. I love to do that. There again, that 6 up and 5th down, and that is the melodic line. That is lick number 2. Lick number 3 takes place right after lick number 2 within the solo, and the chords that it goes over are E minor, B minor, resolved chromatically to A minor 7, and to C major. Yeah, it's kind of a long lick. That's why we're going to divide it into 2 parts. The first part uses the E minor pentatonic with a 9th on top, which is kind of a Eric Johnson, Joe Bonamassa cliche, and it's played in triplets. I'm going to play that for you right here. It goes something like this. Yeah, it's all straight up pentatonic box, which everybody knows and learns first on guitar. But instead of having a minor third up here, replace that with a 9th, which colors the sound a little bit more. And right as I hit that bend, the chord changes from E minor 7 to B minor 7. And you guessed it, I'm landing right on the 4th of that chord and resolve it to the 3rd. Once again, common thread. This seems to be the ongoing theme here. It was an all improvised solo. It just happened to happen so damn often in it. So yeah, going from 4th, releasing into 3rd, and that starts the second part of the lick, which goes something like this. Yeah, it's based on 16th notes, and it's a descending pentatonic pattern in groups of 5, except it has that 9th on top again. So you lead up with 3 notes from the 5th over the 7th over the root, and then you start that descending groups of 5 patterns, which goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you conclude with a group of 3, which lands you on the C note right on beat 1 as the chord changes to C major, right? And you can get away with these slippery groups of 5 if you land right on beat 1 on a root note. Yeah, that's what grounds it and makes it work. So let's play the whole thing one more time for you at full tempo, and wish me luck. Yeah, and that is lick number 3. Okay, lick number 4 is actually a lick that was shown to me by my buddy Nico Schliemann. It's a cool pentatonic sequence, and when I showed him that little wing solo initially, he transcribed it, and he went to me and was like, man, that is a really cool pentatonic thing you're playing. And I was like, dude, you showed me that. He didn't even recognize it. So the whole thing takes place over that B minor 7 to A minor 7 chromatic descent. Okay? I'm going to play you that sequence that we're talking about first. Yeah, Yeah, that's really the gist of it. There's another thing attached to that we're going to talk about in a bit. But let's talk about this sequence first. This is a 4-note pentatonic sequence and goes over the B minor 7 chord and uses the B minor pentatonic. We start on A, which is the flat 7 of that chord, and slide up into the root note. The important thing is that this slide has an actual note value of a 16th note. It's not a grace note like it has an actual note value. Just like any of your picked notes, okay? After you do that slide, you go to the minor 3rd and the flat 7, and those are the 4 notes that we're going to be using. It's important to understand that this does not start on the downbeat, but it starts 1/16th note after the downbeat, okay? So I'm going to count this one in so you understand it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is really crucial to make the lick work. So after you got that one down, you end up on the flat 7 up here. You kind of roll off your 3rd finger to grab the 4th on the A string, move it up to the 5th, grab the flat 7 with your 1st finger, and the 4th with the 3rd finger, and then the whole thing repeats an octave higher with a slightly different fingering. Just refer to the tab. And those are your notes. And then goes into this sort of pedal tone lick. And I'm actually, now that I'm trying to play it, I realize that I don't remember how to play it. It was completely improvised. It was a spur of the moment type of thing, and it's just not on my fingers anymore like it was back then. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, that was pretty much it. I called it a pedal tone lick earlier. It's not really a pedal tone lick as much as it is just an ascending lick with kind of different intervals between the 5th and the 4th and that kind of thing. Again, it was completely improvised. It was really hard for me to recreate that now, but that is lick number 4. Okay, lick number 5, I'm sure, is the one that a lot of you have been waiting for. A lot of you call it the Cliffs of Dover lick. I call it like a wave sequence because to me the contour, the melodic outline of that melody reminds me of a wave in some way, of this constant up and down motion. So let me just play that at a medium pace for you so we're on the same page here. It goes like this. Yeah, something like that. The chords this is played over are A minor 7, going to E minor 7. Okay, now this whole thing starts out with an enclosure of a chord tone. I'm targeting a note, in this case, the minor 3rd of A minor 7, this target note, and I approach it from below and from above, and then land on it. And on beat 1, I land on the minor 3rd of A minor 7, and that starts the sequence of what we call an open voice triad or a widespread triad. Now what is that? Let's take an E minor triad, for example, closed voiced. We have E, G, and B, root, minor 3rd, 5th. Now in order to turn this into a widespread triad or an open position triad, we take the middle note, G in this case, down here, and move it up an octave. It gives us this note. So now we have E, B, and G in this order. Let's find a better fingering for it that makes more sense to play. And we got this. And this is basically what I'm moving through the scale as a sequence. Including some inversions, but I'm not going to get into that. I use a few inversions here and there, but this just makes a minor difference. Let's talk about the execution of this lick. In the original recording, I played using hybrid picking. I started with the pick, and the first note, the minor 3rd, I play with a downstroke, then I play that low note with an upstroke, the middle note with a downstroke, and then I use my middle finger to pluck the high note and slide it down. And that'll be the ongoing pattern for this. So slide down, upstroke, downstroke, middle, slide, upstroke, downstroke, middle, slide, and so on. You can also play this with a pick. In this case, it would be down, up, slide, up, down, up, slide, up, down, up, and so on. Now, right now, my middle finger is actually, I cut my nail, unfortunately, a little too short, so I'm going to use the ring finger to demonstrate it too. Yeah, I feel much more comfortable using grow nails. So that leads us to the second part of the lick, which is kind of a Hey Joe blues type thing, where you let the open E string ring out and play other notes underneath, and it goes like this. And then I slide from E to F sharp. And as I slide from E to F sharp, the chord changes to B minor 7, and I land on the 5th of that chord. And that makes it resolve so nicely. So let's play the whole thing fast, and that concludes the lesson. So let's check it out. That's lick number 5. And that is it for the Little Wing lesson, guys. Thank you so much for checking this one out. As I mentioned before, check the links in the description to find the tablature for the 5 licks. It's free. You can pay what you want if you want to support us. And if you want to have the full solo and many, many solos more, you can go to my Patreon page, join the silver tier, and get access to all of those. Thanks so much for checking this out. Leave a comment, leave a like, and all that good stuff. And see you soon, guys. Bye-bye. Guitar that Little Wing was recorded on. This is my Talman TM302, I believe, by Ibanez, and it is a 2016 build. It is a beautiful sounding guitar. I was so happy with how it sounded on Little Wing. The only reason I haven't played it much since is because I've gotten my signature guitar, the MM1, in the meantime, so I've been digging that guitar so much that I haven't touched any other pretty much. Now, thinking back to that time in late 2016, it was really sort of an innocent vibe going on when we went into the studio. We booked the studio in Leipzig and I got the band together. It was the first time we played in that exact configuration. And we had no plans to make this a regular thing. We were just mostly playing my originals at the time. And at the end of the 2-day session, we had like 2 hours left in the studio. They were paid for, so we were like, well, let's play something. Let's play a cover tune. Why don't we play Little Wing? Benny, you sing. And that was pretty much all we thought about in the moment, is just fill up some time. Now, after we uploaded that whole thing, it blew up so much, especially given how small my YouTube channel was at the time. And ever since, we've been getting together regularly and shooting cover songs and jamming our asses off, inviting international guests and all that good stuff. But the Little Wing video was really the one that ignited that idea of making this a serious thing and even giving the band a name, which it didn't have at the time and stuff like that. So yeah, Little Wing is the one that started it all, and it was played in this guitar.